Okay, well, our highway meeting will be called to order. Approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
So,
Second. You'll move the second to approve the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Discussion County Highway E ditches, town of Algoma. Is there anybody from the public that wants to speak on that?
Yeah, I'd like to speak on that. Even though it's been a drought year, things are drying up in certain areas. I know Bobby always brings up that, they don't exactly know where the water's coming from. Well, if you come out and look at the ditches now, you can see the wet areas where the water's sitting and the dry areas where it won't drain. So, the two problems are one area down on by Horseshoe on Miller Court or whatever that is. And the other one, I believe, is by the lift station with the sewer in. Cause that's backing up there. I got water constantly in the ditch. So, with the two culverts going underneath either, how they're eating away. Last month, it was said that it was woodchucks. They're not woodchucks, they're muskrats, which are burrowing into the side of the ditches, and they're doing it all the way down. So wherever there's water, there's muskrats that are burrowing into the side of the land, and all the culverts, if you look at my culverts entering my driveway, it's all ate out around the outside, they've gotta be redone, because the water's just not flowing, and we just need to get this cleared up. I know you guys put on the table that looking at getting tile and stuff like that. Hopefully in the last 90 days that something has been done, and you guys will have a game plan coming on here to maybe get this resolved. I hope the ball keeps rolling. So, and to get this water out of our ditches, a lot of times, there, over the past meetings, as Trick's Pond got filled in, or it seems like there's always an excuse that are coming up to where the water is actually coming from. Point blank is it's a man-made problem. Okay, and it needs to be fixed because Winnebago made a mistake by signing off on this project. And when it's always brought up that, well, we got drainage problems in other parts of the county, maybe so. I'm not debating it, but we're coming to these meetings, these committee meetings, voicing our opinions and letting you guys know, we're sick of this. It's been 15, 13 years. It needs to be done. And if the ball keeps moving forward, like it's been doing a little bit, we have no promise. Keep up on the maintenance, the culverts that's going underneath here, it's been 90 days and nothing's been done with them. The culverts, the shoulder road still falling in, my driveway on the ends is falling in. I dropped my zero turn next to the culvert when I was cutting, the back end dropped right down in. Sooner or later, these culverts are gonna just start giving up. I'm sure the bottoms are rotted out of them, with the constant water flow. And now come winter, if the water can travel around the outside of the culverts, what's it gonna do? It's gonna do like a pop bottle. It's gonna freeze, and it's gonna push the culverts up and make them have no drainage. And then the water's gonna sit there. I wish I didn't have to come all the time and tell you guys what's going on, but I come to update you guys on what's going on so you guys can understand. If everything's getting cut, like it's supposed to, it's been cut 2 times this year. Hopefully we'll get a third cutting out of it just before winter comes, so we have a nice flow come spring. hopefully Bob's put something in his budget to look further into this next year. I'd like to know if he applied for any of that ARPA money or that Spirit Fund money to get the ditch problem fixed. Where it won't cost us as taxpayers that we get the money from the federal government, that $33 million was appropriated. So with that said, I'm done with my portion, so.
Does it, I got a
Go
question.
ahead.
Is the sinkhole on the shoulder, is that getting bigger?
No, but it's the same, but when I go down between the two culverts, it seems like it's getting deeper down further into the ditch. So it's moving its way forward. If we get a real heavy rain, or a real spring thaw, it's really gonna heat up this next coming spring. All the culverts are shot, even the driveway culverts, you know, you can come out there and you look. You know, you can see how the water's going around the outside of them, not going through the middle.
Is there anybody else that would like to address the committee on anything on the agenda?
Yeah, Ron Miller, actually wasn't gonna come today, I talked to Tom. Earlier in the week, and I said, we beat this poor animal with death, I said, you know, get it down there. And I went out this week, and like I said, we finally got her cutting, and the first one they did the best, they did the second one, I made arrangements to get in my field on fire. And it was fantastic, just all this work has to be done on the shoulder of the road. I'll gravel because the equipment moves on to the grass. We'll say that it's like it's actually in the with water and did a nice job, and then that being said, found out that it dried up now. There's the whole east half on the north side. Right, whenever there's an opportunity, I'm not going to cut it. So I recut the leaf out because I grind it up, fine. I don't care. It's really. Yeah, almost to where I was gonna go, and I got in a little bit of trouble. I fell in. I went up the following day with my back home to fix that. I got to do it. Went down on the east side and we've been making it get clean, and so I'll take my own, went back and forth, which I thought out of the way, and it was real. The consistency of some kind of a little thicker than our cream cells. Something where it's all black, and it's things that I haven't. Further not the weather, you push it aside and know that happens. In the process, I realized, I know when I've been cutting this berm, I think I told the last time I was there, we built it. Every once in a while, I'm dropping in, and then it's a while. Since that thing's all undermined on the wax. The water's channeling through there, can't get over this clog, and then it's channeling through the berm and coming back out into the ditch. So the cleaning's just gotta happen. I'm begging it, you know. And we'll like smash it and burn it a little bit, and we go get the word out of the field to do that. It's a wonderful opportunity. We talked this week, Bob, and you said late this fall. Late fall last. We'll do that. Late fall. Christmas, and then it starts raining. And I have to fill this field up one of the days, one opportunity. I'm working with it beautiful. Last time they cleaned that ditch, they were, you know, there again, the work from the shoulder, I don't know how to do that. They have the wrong mailbox. Deal with traffic. But then that more guy can save so much time by doing that, you know. I thought to make sure you're gonna use the field and yeah, starting the south side, we cut the south side, and I went home, I went back a little while later, see how we going. North side was stuck. Maybe all the time. I don't know about this. They're cleaning, and then you go 100 feet an hour, I don't know, cleaning that.
I mean, it depends on how much they're taking out.
And first thing I knew there. I don't know, what was simple that. Very good this, I would have done. That we're gonna, in my field, idea. Yeah. I mean, it's worth going for that. I mean, no problem back there. So, that's why I closed it against them. I wish I had got paid for every all right spent when that didn't was trying to maintain that digital self, and I don't mind. These guys are black. So, and I'll keep doing that. It's funny. Need a little help in one area. Then you get the bit right, that plug is almost up there. And you know, stop the burn. It's saturated. Everything. Got to do it. When I was clean last time, it did not. Not ideal. As far as this long-term fix, I pretty much. I think it's long as up. Permanent. That really what we got now.
Okay, is there anybody else that would like to address the committee on anything on the agenda?
I agree with you guys.
Good.
Yeah. What I can say right now. Good job, Ron. Good job. I thought you had to spray it too.
You're with them?
Yes, I'm Melanie White, and I pretty much agree with everything that they've said, and, with it being a drier year, it is, you know, in front of my house much better, but that's because it's super dry. But across the road where it's next to Mr. Miller's field, it's like a swamp.
If I could go back a second, you know, we spent 2 solid days of cleaning the south side out. Basically, after we did do it.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't jump over and get mine at that time. They called in after that. And I was told, about 2 or 20, and they go. It was.
Okay, that'll conclude our ditch for the town of Algoma, number 4. Number 5, discussion of County Trunk Highway 3 Pioneer Road project update.
So we met with, Grafe, the engineers on that project in Radke. And Radke is just putting together a schedule for us now. So, as soon as we get that schedule back, we want to start on that project immediately. Just waiting for Radke to get back to us. But as soon as we get a schedule, we want to start in on that project.
Discussion, number 6, discussion of West Walkow Ave Highway design update.
So we talked about West Walkow Ave, that there is money for design, to start design in there. I did get a meeting, with the airport, EAA and the city of Oshkosh. We did meet out on site. The EAA, Mr. Taylor wanted to talk to his committee, and get back to me. So just waiting for EAA to get back to me, kind of what without the city of Oshkosh, to put storm sewer under that whole road, a 4-lane with storm sewer. It sounds like they're not interested in a 4-lane facility out there. EAA's thought and the city's was that as far as for pedestrians and bikes out there, they would like to see a separate bike and pedestrian path from the roadway. Sounds like during their event, especially for EAA, they're utilizing 3 lanes of traffic through there right now. One is designated exclusively for buses. And once this project, we get going on this, what it kind of comes down to is they would potentially, we're looking at maybe a storm sewer on one side of the road that would daylight to an open ditch. And that would at least get rid of the big deep ditches out there, and that could provide for an off-road facility for bike and ped. So that's kind of where the discussion went and thoughts out there of what they'd like to see. So which is good, you know, cost wise, keep the costs way down if we don't have to put a full storm sewer under that, that whole road. So like I said, now I'm just waiting for, to hear back from EAA to kind of, that he was going back to his committee to let him know what we discussed. And then we can start moving forward with an RFP for design to start that design. So.
We're
So they're,
still looking at an urban type construction.
Crest, you're gonna see a open ditch on one side of the road potentially, and a storm sewer to an open ditch on the other side to accommodate for the bike and ped.
So the big curb and gutter.
No,
Oh,
no.
and 2 lane now instead of 4.
So right now, it's like it's like 2 lane. It's almost like 3 lane to 2 lane to 3 lane. It's kind of hourglass shaped in there. So we'd like to take that out there. So whether we look at like 2 lanes with a middle left turn lane, then that would designate a specific lane for the buses and for traffic out there. You know, you may see a curb and gutter on one side of the road that has the storm sewer, but then the other side of the road may have just an open ditch with a shoulder.
Well, isn't the one side of the road the city?
Well, so there's. Yeah, I mean, technically, yeah, part of it's city and then part of it's town. So yeah, there is a mix out there, and then a lot of it like is EAA ground. So yeah, so that's what kind of where we're looking at. So once we get back from EAA, they confirm that that's, you know, the direction we're gonna go, then we'll look at an RFP to start that design for that.
Are you saying it's not a county road?
Well, it is a county road. Back in, I think we found back in 1970, there was a resolution from 1970 that it's a county road, it's county jurisdiction. So why, or that I don't know what triggered that, but it is a county jurisdiction road.
Well, the town's turned it over to the county, probably.
Yeah, there, I mean, there was an agreement made, yeah. So,
Are we gonna see, some, diagrams of, or potential, different, ways of designing this? Maybe we're gonna do that as we go.
I mean, we could, yeah, once we get a scope of the project, then what we'll do is we'll reach out to, you know, send these out to the engineers. And then when they come back, I mean, we may look at, maybe 2 or 3 different proposed cross sections for that road. So yeah, I mean, we will look at some different options with it. But as of right now, that was the city of Oshkosh for safety of the people walking. And EAA both, you know, wanted that off of the roadway. So instead of tying that in designated pedestrian and bike facilities. So.
Are we looking for any outside funding to help do this?
Potentially, I've looked already, I kind of just throwing some ideas out there. And this section of road doesn't qualify for any STP funding. But I mean, if there's something out there, yeah, I'm definitely gonna try to go after whatever type of funding we can if that's available. So at least, I mean, the design money is already there. At least we can get the design done. So that's less we'll have to pay up front, you know, when we look for that construction. But at that point, yeah, we can look for some different types of funding for that.
Any further questions? General operation, number 7.
Let's see. So obviously, budget is coming up here. Couple things as far as like capital, our capital equipment. So obviously, we've been having problems getting trucks. It's been a big issue. So what we did is we, instead of, cause you get the truck and chassis is what you purchase. And then your winter equipment is separate. So the box, the wing, the plows and the sander are all separate. So because instead of designating that money each year for each truck, we purchase trucks with that money. So this year, so we have 5 trucks that are on order, we should be getting. So this year, those 5 trucks will be putting in for the winter equipment for those 5 trucks. So instead of, ordering for this year, we're 2 years out. So everything we order, we're not gonna see for 2 years. So instead of that budgeting for that winter equipment, we purchased trucks with that. So we've got those 5 trucks coming. So this year, we're gonna have, just over 900,000 just in for the box, the plows, the wings and the sander for those 5 trucks. So that'll be a big portion of our budget this year is budgeting for that for those trucks. But at least those trucks we have ordered. We do, and additionally to that, we're gonna order 3 more trucks. So those, like I said, are 2 years out. And now this auto strike, I don't know how it's gonna affect this. Chrysler owns Western Star. I don't know what this is gonna do to this. I think this is gonna, hopefully we get the trucks that we ordered. We're gonna put in, again, for some smaller, vehicles, but, once again, something we didn't see coming, with this, but. So like I said, just over 900,000 we're gonna have just for the winter equipment for the 5 trucks that we purchased. We are we're gonna look at a single axle, a tandem axle and a tri-axle. So those will replace 3 of our the worst ones we have right now. We have also scheduled a skid steer. 2 of the skid steers we have got a lot of hours on them. We're gonna get a new milling head. So what it is it's about a 2-foot mill that goes on for milling butt joints or bridge approaches. The 2 that we have are just coming up to between 15 to 20 years old. We've got our life out of those. They're just about shot. So we're gonna look at that skid steer with that new mill head. Also a new mower. We've got 1 more that is reached life expectancy. So we're gonna look at replacing that mower. So that's our big road mowers. Then we have a new hot box. So when we do patching at night or during the winter, these hot boxes, it's just a hopper trailer that we can put asphalt in, and then you can keep it heated. So the entire time you're out, you can keep that heated, so you're using it. So the one of them we have right now, we've sent it back to the factory to get repaired. And we're still having problems with it. We can't heat with it, and so we're gonna replace that unit this year. And then we're looking at, oh, sure.
Can you use that in the summertime? I mean, or is it?
Yes,
junk?
oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. And then we have the 2 foreman's trucks. And we had our paving truck this year, our foreman's truck. We've had it in, we had it to Summit and Fond du Lac, we've had it at Bergstrom, we've had it 3-4 different places. It's done. So
What do you mean done?
it doesn't run anymore. It's a diesel. It's got a lot of hours, and it must be the main, what I heard was it's the main wiring harness in the whole truck. So
Is that a Dodge?
it's a Ford I think it's a 350 or 450. So we've had it everywhere and they thought they had it fixed and it'll run and then also it just loses power and, the crews tried numerous times to try it after it came back and, it's just past, fixing it anymore. So what we did is we took one of the old trucks that we were gonna get rid of. So that's what the paving crew's using now. So we have two foreman trucks and then a patrol truck. So that would be one you'd see on, on 41 or, the truck that we're replacing, I think it's over 300,000 miles on it. It's another one that I can't believe it's still running, but, so that's kind of what we're looking at for capital equipment this year. But like I said, now with this strike, I don't know, vehicles, I don't
You
know.
put it in on his wish list already?
What was that?
You put it in on the executive's wish list already?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so as far as like those trucks, we have not, I mean, the smaller trucks. I'm hoping that we can still get them before this strike kicks in. So,
How's your operational budget? You raise the levy or not?
no, I mean, we're with the enterprise fund, we really don't take much of a hit on the levy because we're enterprise. So, so that we can get into that more, next year. So obviously then for our operating budget, some of the going through our budgets, I mean, obviously we've had some increases on different items. Typically what we'll do is we'll look over a 5-year trend when we're going with this. So when we start looking at that, I mean, some of the big ones that jump out are like motor oil and fuel costs. Once again, fuel prices just jumped up here, another big jump. So we did increase. So that was probably one of our bigger ones was the fuel prices increase. So we did jump that up. Other things that we looked at, equipment rental. We typically rent every winter 5 end loaders. At the height of COVID, we were paying $10,000 a month per loader. This year, we had some come in at 6,300 and then we were down to about 5,000. So we did see a little drop in that, but we did sign a contract with those to get those in. Clearly, any rental prices of any equipment right now are skyrocketed. Equipment's hard to get.
So you pay by the month or by the hour?
So by the month and we only get so many hours. Yeah. So they get us on both
And
ends.
what's the price of a new?
150 to 200,000. So, but the thing is though, is for the salt sheds, when we get them, we just get a standard flat rate per hour for those when they're in the salt sheds. These leases just get paid directly from the state. If we were to purchase an end loader, we only get that hourly rate. So that loader would be parked in Menasha or Winchester. And the only time it's gonna get paid is if it's running, loading salt. So depending on severity of that winter, you may put some hours in, you may not. So to go purchase a new loader, when we have 2 here.
I can see you having one in Winchester to load,
Yep.
So you
Yeah.
can't use it to plow this parking lot?
Well, we can, but the only thing is that once those are out, they're gone. So we do use one of them already in the parking lots. So we have to keep one here. So one of our 2 loaders is already in the lots and one of them is here to load trucks. So if anytime a truck comes in, there's a loader here to load. 26 has a loader at it. Winchester, and then Menasha. So at any time when a truck comes in there to load that, there's something there to load those trucks.
So where's the other one? That's 4.
So, and then the other one we have for parking lots too. So second one for the lots. So yeah, and like I said, any equipment rentals right now are through the roof. So that we're gonna see an increase with that. Another big one has been, parts for equipment. The supply chain has driven the price of equipment, parts, up drastically. So, there's another one of our big hits that we're gonna see increases this year that we put in for budget. See,
Wages,
yeah, you got wages, that's one of them.
benefits we haven't addressed yet, right?
No. So the wages part, I mean, like I said, that because we're the enterprise, with the enterprise, we can just directly bill that to whoever we're working for. So we don't take that, really big hit.
We're on the levy though for insurance, right?
Right,
You haven't raised your hand?
Not just taking it all in there.
yeah, so I mean, our increases really don't impact the levy as far as like this because of the enterprise fund, that we can build that back. The capital equipment's another one, obviously, ordering equipment, has been another one that gets raises all the time. I know the mower, we just talked about that road mower. John Deere is gonna jack those prices up 10% come October 1. We're trying to, they didn't notify Sourcewell, so Sourcewell is they get like a statewide bid with Sourcewell. They didn't notify Sourcewell for 30 days to post that, so they are still awarding the original price for the next 30 days. So we are trying to get a letter of intent out to lock in for that. So,
So when you talk
180,000.
about pickup truck price that's going out, do we buy them pickups on the state contract?
Yes. Yep. So the mower, I mean, you're looking at a $180,000 mower. You're looking at about $18,000 increase just in 30 days. And so we're trying to, yeah, so those are the things that are coming that, we're putting this together. And just like that, they're going, hey, 10,000 or 10% increase on that. That's why I like the budget, trying to put this is tough because every day somebody's coming forward and the prices we're getting, all of a sudden, just like that, we're budgeting and now all of a sudden, you put a little in case, but now all of a sudden we had 10% is quite a drastic price increase with those.
And John Deere could go on strike too, because I mean, it's like,
Yep.
It's like an avalanche. Nobody can afford to live anymore, so they're all demanding more pay.
Yeah,
It's just,
We're doing that, but the thing is, everyone's recording record profits. And that's why it is, because the car industry, like I know, they made so much money from recently. And they're charging so much money to people to buy cars and stuff right now, and us like this. And because of that, they're making so much. And now the workers say, hey, wait a second, how could you be making that much money? I thought we were having hard times. We really aren't having hard times. So all the stuff you're going through is everyone taking advantage of the situation. Because, the vehicles are vehicles. I mean, there's a shortage, but they're making tons of money and they got you. Oh, okay. That's why I said, when I looked down this list, is that a normal year? Because that's a lot of stuff in one year. I don't remember last year when I was in here, that there was that much stuff going on like this. That's a lot of stuff we have to buy and
well, as far as equipment, yeah, we've been at I think last year was 1.8 million for equipment. So yeah, I mean, the only thing we try to stay at that, but the only thing that's getting us those increases, like I said, with John Deere, I mean, 10%, just like that. I'm hoping that we don't see any in the rest of the equipment.
it's hard to plan for all that. I mean, I don't care where it is and all the different things that we're talking about now throughout the whole county is everything is more if we bid it out, we get it, and then all of a sudden it's more, and it costs us more to finish it, it's not getting done. It's not gonna end all the way, is it? It just
Yeah.
keeps coming at us, so it's hard to budget something that's coming that you have no.
It is.
idea.
Yep, it is, and that's what I mean, we have our meetings, we walk out and we think we have a good, and then all of a sudden, just like that, you're seeing these increases and, you know. Maybe one thing too, I mean, you start looking, you know, like, as far as like our highway maintenance, as far as like the states. So during COVID, they quit doing their epoxy overlays and a lot of their maintenance because of the epoxy, you couldn't get it, the price was through the roof. Well, now those prices will settle down, now vendors are out, so now they're starting to do, so this year we did, in Winchester, we did 3 epoxy overlays this year. Where we haven't the past few years because of COVID. So now we're starting to see now that increase now because we're starting to do more of those state projects. So lift bridges, same thing with lift bridges. We have an electrician that goes through on anything with that. I mean, obviously wages hit those too, so we're seeing in prices with there. The hydraulic services we get, any of those services that we get, we're seeing, I mean, as far, and, too, when you start looking at the milling machines and pulverizers from Northeast Asphalt, they're seeing the same fuel prices, they're seeing increased wages. All of those services are going up, the design,
Do we still do stuff for other counties?
yes.
And then we make sure that we raise the prices for these other counties too?
So they pay, you know, time and material, so whatever we're there, so yeah, like when we go our chip spreading. You know, whatever we were there, yeah, we get the kind of cost covered. So. So yeah, contractual services, those are, I mean, like I said, the pulverizer, the milling machine, like right now, we just last week, we just finished on F and double J milling. So we're seeing increases on those. Design for Walcott Ave, when we go to design, any of the engineering firms are the same, prices have gone, you know, up to, so just about everything across the board, we're seeing increases with. So those are some of the general things we're seeing, and like I said, we can only, you know, you can budget, and I don't know what's gonna happen, and then, like I said, now with these strikes, I don't know if that's gonna affect those trucks. I don't know what it's gonna do, so, like I said, Western Star is owned by Chrysler. So I don't know if that'll affect those trucks now, or the trucks that we have on ordered. I don't know if those will, hopefully not. So
So do you think from now until, say, next year, because a lot of the stuff is gonna be in the future, maybe we're gonna get, are we gonna be able to survive, are we gonna be okay, where are we gonna be short?
well, I'm hoping that we don't see any increases. The big thing is like when we, you know, when we go through with this budget and the county executive proposes this, that's the best we can do is at the time what we have. Like I said, as soon as I found out about the mower now 10% increase, well, now if I can get a letter of intent out to lock us in, that's what we're trying to do right now to save $20,000. You
So
know.
you get that letter of intent from their new treasurer?
Well, so what they're telling us, it's either gonna come from
I
them
mean,
or
not treasurer, but finance.
finance. So it's either gonna come from finance, or what I've been told is that we can just give them one from us. It's just a letter saying that we'll accept that, you know, but and basically what it is it's a letter of acceptance. With the condition that it gets passed by the county board. So once that passes, then after the first of the year, we can issue a PO. So we can't issue a PO till after the first of the year. So, but that letter of intent will hold that price for us. So like I said, $20,000 is a lot of money, and I don't think if we can try to save that 20,000, I think we should do that. If it's as simple as, you know, letter of intent to try to hold that, I think, you know, that's what we're gonna try to at least save some money on that right now. So.
Last question I have, our finance department we have, are they helping you in some of this stuff? Because every time I hear something that we need their help or something in some division, it's like we're really too busy. but if we need to save money and do stuff, we forget being busy, that's stuff we should be dealing with right now to save as
Yeah.
much we
I
can.
mean, obviously, the minute, I think it was last Saturday, or I think it was last Saturday, we got the email that the price was going up. So immediately Monday morning, yeah, I went to see the county executive. They were actually in their first budget meeting. So I quick snuck in there. Yeah, so definitely working with finance and, for that,
Yeah, make sure we do whatever we can.
right? Oh, yeah.
Can't keep saying that we're too busy, that's not going on, we can't get this, and that's.
No, they were, right away, they were jumped on right aboard and
Okay.
were with it, so yeah. So that's kind of with as far as that budget, that's kind of where we're at with that. Those are the biggest increases. Otherwise, everything else was on that 5-year, holding there, so.
CIP.
Yeah, well, the CIP stuff, that will be separate. So our road projects, that'll be coming up separate. So, yeah, I mean, we'll, that's what we're working on right now is what roads, we're looking at for that right now. So we'll put all that together and, that'll be another whole presentation and so. And then, any more questions with that? No, and then, just a quick, I'm sure most of you know, we had a tragic accident, our paving foreman, was involved in a motorcycle accident with his wife. Very tragic, we didn't, obviously, when these happen, it affects, our department greatly. The county executive, his staff, human services, were fantastic through this whole process. As soon as we heard that Saturday morning, the county executive, his staff, human services, we all met here, to get a game plan for this. So, I can't thank them enough for that. Obviously, Tom and Chuck, reaching out, it means a lot for us as a department when we get those, when you get those. So a lot of thanks. Like I said, Bill Topol and his staff, when we announced it here, their staff was here. They stayed with us, most of that morning. So it was nice. A lot of people took advantage to talk to that staff. So it was really good to have, them here for their support. So, yeah, we're, working through that and, yeah, Paul will be a tough position to, replace. He was looking to retire maybe this spring. So yeah, not a good situation, but,
Do you have any children?
yeah, it's got, three kids. So they're, the oldest daughter, is taking care of everything right now. So yeah, the family's gonna be going through a lot right now. It's gonna be a tough, for them. So yeah, I wish them the best. And like I said, I've been working with, in contact with his oldest daughter, anything we can do to help this out. And I know they got a benefit coming up in, I think it's October 10th. I think it is. Yeah, so yeah, so we're working through that right now. We had a couple other, deaths of family this week too. John Grohl's dad passed away, this weekend. So yeah, so we got hit pretty hard this week, the last couple of weeks. So, but, so yeah, last thing was I wanted to touch with, so the American Public Works Association does, they do a truck rodeo, every year. And the second week of August, it was at the Timber Rattler Stadium. And they'll set up two road courses. And I think they had trucks from Milwaukee County, come up. And they'll set up courses, so the trucks run through them, they do pre-trip, post-trip inspections. And then, obviously, one of ours, we got first place this year, Mike Gescheitel from our department won first place. So with him, getting that first place, he's gonna be going to, Colorado to participate in the national rodeo. So Mike got, they gave this one for us to display. There's the traveling one that goes around, it's got our Winnebago County on for this year. So the end of the month here, Mike will be going out to Colorado and participating in that, so.
So is he taking his truck?
No, so what they'll do, they take trucks that nobody, like, they brought Milwaukee County trucks up for this, so nobody has any advantage of knowing
You can't-
which truck or, so yeah, yeah,
For 2 years.
yeah. So yeah, so we're really excited for Mike. When I got the news from Mike, needless to say, he was very, excited. So it's exciting for us, like I said, he'll be going out to Colorado at the end of the month here to participate in that.
Yeah, Tom didn't know that, he could have took that for the WCA conference and gone to the.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, we wish Mike the best, going out there and hopefully, does, good out there.
How many of our guys participated over?
We just had one person.
Oh,
Yep, one person went over there. So yeah, we've held over the years, we've did our own here a couple times. And, so when we did those days, the guys really liked it. Got a lot out of it, so it's good that they, choose to participate and go up there. It was nice that it was right up at Appleton there. So,
What's with the truck blocking the road up here, is that spring a leak,
well, so,
filter spring a leak or something?
well, it did have a leak, but, we parked that for honor of Paul.
For
So, for Paul DeLapp was killed, our foreman.
Oh, yeah.
So we parked it out there in honor of
Very
Paul.
good.
We were gonna park it,
Okay.
try to find a different, somewhere out. And
It just had all the fluid going up to it, I just.
yeah,
That's the one they had at,
so at the funeral,
right?
so the family asked that we would take his truck. So at the funeral, we saddled up Paul's truck 40 and put all the equipment on it and took it to the funeral, so it was displayed at the funeral. And
Where was that at?
St. Raphael.
State Rayfields, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so it was nice. We parked it kind of right in the front when everybody pulled in and, yeah, a lot of people, I mean, social media, I mean, I got phone calls and texts from people all over and they took pictures and, with it. So it was nice. It was a nice honor to honor Paul. Paul was, so dedicated to his job and his family that, so, and then obviously we had a truck, break down and we had milling going on, so we needed the truck to haul. So we had that truck out, but we put this one out. This is one of the brand new ones we got. So this one just came in, so we parked that out there. So,
so did they take the plow off? To use it
when we,
for the milling?
oh, yeah, then we took all the plow and everything off, yeah.
Did you have that plow on it at the funeral?
Yeah, we put the plow and wing on it, yes.
That was nice.
Yeah, it looked nice. It was nice. The guys, cleaned it up nice and, it looked like a new truck out there. So, yeah, it was really nice. A lot of people, appreciated that, so. So, yeah.
I got a,
Enough bombs first.
this guy, RJ Gross, called me up,
Oh, yeah, CD.
the roundabout at, CB and Oak Ridge.
Yep.
He found some people to beautify it
Okay.
and, pull weeds and whatnot. And are they allowed to do that?
So when we originally looked at that, they looked at, and I don't know. If you guys remember back about an adopt a roundabout.
I
Program,
do not know, state issue?
no, county,
County?
county road. So we didn't have any, I mean, I know. That's what their intentions were, to find somebody to do something with that. When I talked to Corporation Council. Because obviously we have to have some sort of permit, or how they're gonna work out there, some rules with it.
Liability issue.
I talked to, a lot of different highway departments. They either had them, they discontinued them. Or they're not gonna do it. A lot of what it came down to was liability. When you're in a roundabout, the traffic control, is not the same as a normal, roadway. Obviously you gotta park somewhere. Typically, you're gonna be parking in the middle of the roundabout. And that's where the biggest concerns came.
When I complained about that one on Algoma Boulevard, they said there's a speed limit on it. They weren't gonna do anything, but I think they did.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I mean, I've talked to him, I mean, and, he just told me, he says. You just sign a piece of paper and there's no liability. I'm just going by, when I talked to Corporation Council, they recommended that part of it, we don't get involved with it. I don't know how else, I mean, obviously, the Corporation Councils have to get involved if we go this route. To do something like this.
So we'd rather have it ugly than have to go through the trouble of,
I mean, I don't know, I mean, that we're at budget time, do we budget? I mean, I'm sure CB is gonna be a next one, I know
No,
they
these
talk,
people are gonna do it for free. They're just, they're just volunteering their time. to Work on it.
right,
People that.
I just don't know what do we do to protect them when they're out there?
What about the people that volunteer to do the county park roundabouts? Is that something different?
The county parks?
Yeah.
I don't know if somebody does that, I mean, that's a little different, they're not on a roadway. They're in a park, I mean. I know we talked about the Nina Rotary. Want to
Yeah,
get
that's
involved,
the
and
group
it's-
that he found that.
Yeah, I mean, it's Mark Newmeyer that he was killed and used to work here, he was killed on 41. I talked to them. That's the biggest thing is how do we go about, and I mean, there's rules you can't have, I mean. You shouldn't have, obstructions in there. I know the city of Nina has brick and statues. That's something, I mean, if that's where we wanna go, that's something we're gonna have to come up with a policy, how we do this.
Well, they got trees and. That Walmart.
Yeah, well, typically those, I mean, you'll put shrubbery and low lying, but you don't wanna put any rocks or anything that a car, I mean, you've seen those videos where people hit them,
The one on Algoma is, the city is constantly in there working on it. I mean, they're constantly cutting the grass and pruning.
But that's 45 miles an hour instead of 35 or 45. It's 40 versus 45.
I mean, we mow them and we do the best we can with it, and I know. He accused me of everything under the sun, I've never done anything to disrespect this man or to. And I know he accused me of a lot of things, but one thing I'm not is trying to against this. I did everything I could to do this, and I think we gotta figure out with Corporation Council, well, how do you get crews in there to work safely?
So I gotta call them back and tell them what's going on. So should I tell them to contact corporate council to see how they can figure out?
As far as I know, he already has. Told me he already did. So,
I would still contact them, but let them know that you were concerned.
Yeah, simply a liability, it's got to work out with the legal staff, see where they go from there.
I mean, if you wanna
somebody gets
pursue a.
I gotta tell them
adopt a
something.
roundabout. Well, right, I mean, but if you want us to pursue and adopt a roundabout, I mean, we're gonna have to, you know, come up with some rules and regulations with that. You know,
Policy issue.
oh, for sure, for sure. Like I said, the counties that I did reach out, were no longer participating in these because of the same issues, concerns.
So
I can put out,
what, do I tell him to contact corporate counsel to figure out how to figure out the liability problem, or do I have him contact you to figure out the liability problem?
Corporation.
Or
well, I'm gonna have to go, I mean, if you want me to go through Mary Ann, I don't know what's gonna change,
You go through there,
but
what, you go through the court council. It would have more weight than.
Right. So
Chuck, you had a question?
I did, thank you, Mr. Chairman. In the minutes, I had referred to getting a copy or more detail on the contracts that we sign with, as an example, records. Are you gonna follow up with that? Anyone in and show us?
okay, so you just want a copy of the contract?
I wanna know what's in these contracts,
Okay,
because obviously there was substantial financial issues with this contract. So I wanna know, I was looking for a little more details. I assume they did the job, based on time, material and all that, then we had this issue about course oils. But if they don't get a contract done within the specified time, then obviously there should be consequences, right? So these are the kind of the details I'd like to know that is within the contract.
okay.
How are we protected as a county for contractors that can't complete their legal obligations?
or engineering too. you know.
Yes,
There-
yeah, that all needs to be part of it,
So,
because hopefully this is not gonna be repeated in the future.
yeah, Bradke's is definitely at fault, engineering.
What was our cost overrun, 900,000, was it? Yeah, going there?
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just,
Jesus.
and I went out there and I looked at it, I mean,
Did you drive over it?
oh, yeah, I went up and down, I went up, down Double I went through Larson and drove.
I mean, one thing though
I
is,
don't see where 900,000 is, but I don't have the ability to estimate costs, so.
right, but that's one thing we talked about though, is when that estimate was given, was in 2017 or 2018, right in there. So that project wasn't constructed till 4 or 5 years later.
So in the contract, there's something that allows them to adjust the price based on inflation. Or you rebid it. Well, if we're going out that far, there's no way you can really set a cost to a contract.
Well, so,
So there's gotta be other language.
but in the past, those prices have held. So from design estimate to construction, those prices have held.
So is this the first example of
Yes.
what we're going to run into
Well-
in the future?
So now, I mean, now we're gonna have to get estimates consistently right up to the day of construction.
Or you write in the contract that you'll only accept CPI increases for the project. Which is
Yeah.
public national, right? So, inflation goes up 3%, you can adjust the price.
Right, but in this
Otherwise,
case,
we're wide open, standing here, to naked in the woods here, well, we are.
well, I think this is just one of the, I mean, I mean, I don't ever remember a project falling right in line with this COVID and the increases we saw. I mean, hopefully now, I mean, if you get a price to build you a house today, I can tell you in 30 days from now, it's void.
that would be cost overruns, which would be within contractual issues, so I'm simply looking for a document that the county normally enters into.
And I can get that from finance, it's
So
a
we can
standard,
Get a general idea.
yeah. They've got
Am I
a
the only one that
standard.
has this interest?
No,
I assume we should all.
Sure, yes. 'Cause I mean, I know you're talking about this one, but I know of other ones that happened that again, the board from years ago, okay, that now the new board isn't taking care of the increase because it was more than we were supposed to. It seems like it's coming up more and more now, right?
Yes.
So I'm sure if we're still here, for the next years to come, how the heck did those guys do that? Why did they do, same thing, you got some bid in 17 and now you're building it, based on that, now you're gonna double it, I mean, what,
So we're gonna
surely
see,
someone's gonna say, no.
I
How do you
think,
do
I
that?
think what we need to look at is the procedure. So if we're gonna do a project, we need to get the engineering done, so we have an established. Define what needs to be done and at what cost. Okay, and then we need to get that project on the table, probably within a year, or at least starting. You can't have a 5-year lag here, I mean, who can estimate 5 years down the road? So you
Exactly.
gotta have a shorter lag time between us.
so that's what everybody, the standard is changing now.
Well, everybody, okay.
Everybody's, yeah, we're not the only ones.
You get engineered, you get it done, and we wanna see the ground moving at least within 12 months.
There's gotta be remedies for us as a county. I mean, there's a penalty that you didn't do it like you said, in that time period. There's gotta be protective things that we can put in there to protect us, but it can't be all just one way,
We need to look at too is though, I mean, we're doing budget right now. So our capital projects are gonna get approved this fall, this winter. So those
Based
capital,
on estimates.
Right.
yeah, so
Yeah.
whatever happens over the winter could affect those prices by construction time.
Oh, yeah.
So how do we,
Yeah.
that's what we need to do on this end is how do we, I mean, you can't just go in there and say, hey, we're gonna, put it up 40%. Just in case something covers. But that's where the problem is we're putting our budget, so far in advance. We've got 6 months before we do that construction, and a lot can happen in that time.
And move to adjourn. Next meeting date.
October 16th.
Same third, Monday? That'll work.
We're adjourned.